Hello, everyone. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So my name is Erioluwa, and I grew up in a very small village in Ibadan, Nigeria. So this is me as I was small. But there's something why I want to share this. Growing up, this was me on my way to school, but other children like myself weren't going to school, and it was actually a big problem because I want to play with them, but I can't because I'm learning the English they are teaching me in school, but they were not connecting. So that made me get interested in out-of-school children. And this is me with some of the out-of-school children in the early days. This was me at maybe 14 or 15. And this is me with the children. And I realized that, these children didn't choose to be born in those places, but just by the virtue of being born in a place, it could determine whether they were going to be educated or not. Then I started doing needs analysis, speaking to their parents, speaking to why is it that there are schools around, even though it's like 30 minutes away or 1 hour away, why are you not taking your children to school? I really wanted to understand why we had so many out-of-school children. So I would do needs analysis and just go into the streets and slums areas where I was living and just ask a lot of questions. Then I felt like I didn't have the agency, but I started doing something. I started campaigns like this. And I would bring children around. Don't worry, there's rights. Every of their parents signed off on this, but there's rights say every child deserves quality basic education. And that's actually how I started over 10 years ago. And I would go about these placards, just carry them everywhere. Everywhere I see stakeholders, having meetings, I'll just go with the cardboards. But that's actually how I started. Then I started also teaching them the things that I was learning in school. So I started teaching out-of-school children basic functional literacy, not just mathematics and English, but also something that can allow them to contribute positively to the society. So this is me doing my functional literacy thing, teaching mathematics and English and every single thing I could teach them, and bringing my friends to also supporting them in that regard. So I moved into acquiring more knowledge to see how I can, support them, and also by partnering with some of organizations, I got the opportunity to learn how to furthermore help those people. But then I discovered that it wasn't just only about functional literacy. I needed to see education as a value chain and see every form that connects to that. So not just only the out-of-school children, but also understanding that there are teachers in that program. What are they teaching them? And also employment, as to why many parents don't send their children to school. So I started teachers training. This was my first teachers training. See how I looked. And I just started working with teachers to see how best we might develop or improve education. Because it wasn't just only getting out of school children into school. I realized that many of them were also leaving schools. So then I started also working with teachers. These are pictures of me with teachers. The first time I was going to bring young teachers together. That was for old teachers, then young teachers also. Then I discovered that many young people were also leaving school, because I later went to university to study education, and children would leave my class. And I was like, why are you guys not staying in school? But it was because the way we were teaching it was very boring. They wanted to learn in a way that was going to be engaging. They would tell me, you teach me all of this algebra, all of this calculus, but I've never used it a day outside of classroom. So I had a conversation with school owners and bringing them together to say, how might we actually allow children to stay in school? How can we make learning fun and engaging? Then I started just asking that question roundabout. This is me in refugee camps, just doing a lot of work and just asking, how can we make education fun and engaging? A refugee comes to a place and you're teaching them mathematics. They still have a whole lot of things. There's a way they want to learn. There's a way we should be teaching them. And I just started having conversations with these people through an organization called YouthxYouth. How do we design learning in a way that is liberating? And this is me with children, asking them, how would you want to learn? How would you want to learn addition? How would you love to learn subtraction? And they will bring me to the field and teach me how they want to learn it, how they had ways of learning it. So I did that in Lagos, Nigeria, then expanded to other communities where I could find young people. It was easier to scale because it was the same problem everywhere, right? So then this is me, in places in Uganda, Kenya, just really engaging young people and saying, how would you like to learn? Then we realized something, that what they were learning and how they would like to learn was affecting the kind of outcomes that they would have in terms of job employment. Meaning that some of the jobs that we had and some of the employment, the education wasn't preparing them for the future of work, basically. So they're like, I'm in school, I have to graduate and still find out what I would like to do. And still I studied accounting, but I still have to learn data analysis so that I can get a job as a data analyst. So there was a very big gap between what they were learning in school and what the job market was willing to offer. So it was just way beyond providing basic education and functional literacy for them. It was now ensuring that they learned things that was going to make them responsible and functional citizens. So we started asking young people, how would you like us to incorporate these skills into your learning processes such that you don't need to graduate before you now start learning how to code, right? How then can you learn the things that the job market would require? So we would have all of this. You can see how can we ensure contribution and productivity of youth in our communities. This is in Uganda, Namuntuba. So we had all of those activations so that when we have all of that, it's easier to engage community. So we bring stakeholders together, business owners, policymakers, education district officers, curriculum development, a number of trees, you get money, and all of that, and seeing how young people could be a part of that. So this is my team that we do all of this work together. I co-founded it with these two amazing women here, and this is one of our retreats, just really thinking about how we were going to do that. But then we have done a lot of work in functional literacy, seeing how we can get them employable. But then I started thinking about how then do we shift policies, and also how then do we provide these jobs? How do we connect? It's not just enough to make someone employable. How do you connect young people with jobs? You have trained them, they have the skill, then the jobs. And because that's the question, where are the jobs? There are no jobs, and they have all of the skills. So I started the idea and started thinking of, we need co-creative hubs and places and spaces for young Africans to actually co-create their ideas so that they can be at the forefront of innovation and not just recipients of technology, right? Right now, there's a lot of conversation around learn how to use ChatGPT, learn how to use AI, but someone built this AI, right? So how then do we bring our people from recipient and just users of technology to bring them to the front there of this? So I used to have a lot of conversations, TEDx event, just talking about how we can revive education, holding spaces for young people, and just really having conversation around African talent development. And that led me to building a co-creation hub that now works with a lot of young people, especially young graduates. So we bring them into the hub and ask them, come and co-create your ideas. So this is some of our office spaces. So we create conversations that are coming, learn skills around technology, around communication, storytelling, programming, every single thing that you can do. And once you bring your ideas about that, we connect you to your organization. So right now we have a couple of organizations that work with, that outsource their technology